Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching The Harder They Fall, starring Lakeith Stanfield, Jonathan Majors, Regina King, Zazie Beetz, Delroy Lindo, and basically a who's who of African American stars that basically star in this new Western film about the Nat Love gang and Nat Love's mission to take down the man responsible for the death of his parents. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story focuses on Nat Love, played by Jonathan Majors, who reassembles his old criminal gang in order to get revenge on the man who ended up killing his parents, Rufus Buck, played by Idris Elba. After Buck is saved by his own gang and takes over the town of Redwood, our heroes have to successfully go through a heist as well as go through a deadly Wild West shootout in order for Nat Love to get his revenge, all while we get to indulge in all the Western classic tropes that we'd expect from this kind of premise. But that's all I'll say about the story. I do think the story really benefits quite a lot from the chemistry between the actors at hand here. Obviously, when you have a lot of big names attached to the film, they would naturally play off each other pretty well, but with Lakeith Stanfield, Jonathan Majors, Regina King, Zazie Beetz, Delroy Lindo, and a ton of other actors in here, they managed to get a lot of great lines and a lot of great moments just because of how these actors interact. And considering Delroy was also in Five Bloods, I think Netflix is giving him a little bit of a career renaissance. But on top of that, the action scenes in the film are really stylish too. They've got tons of blood, quick editing, fast pacing, and a ton of talented stunt people who clearly understand how to make a good Western shootout. Even if that sort of action really only ramps up near the end, but like the best Western shootouts, they save the best part for the end. On top of that, it's interesting that even though this is a fictional story, they even say so at the beginning, that all the actors are playing outlaws and lawmen who were real people back in the Old West. So you could say it's similar to Vinland Saga, how they had a fictional story with actual people in it. So it adds a sense of legitimacy to these characters' actions because it feels like these characters were written with those original people in mind. On top of that, even the soundtrack, which is pretty eclectic for this film, is pretty good, even if it is filled with a lot of modern songs. It doesn't feel particularly distracting, and it's mainly there to set up the style of the film, which honestly makes it feel a bit more new school, and which in the clashes with the old school dynamics of the Western tropes here. And considering I'm a huge fan of Regina King from Boondocks, I'm glad she got to play a character like Trudy Smith here. And the same could be said for actors like Zazie Beetz and even Jonathan Majors, who I was first introduced to when watching Loki, so I was surprised to see that he can play a lead this well here. On top of that, it really feels like this film has a good sense of humor in a more subtle way. There's of course a few comic relief characters here and there, but there's other subtle jokes that you might want to catch via a rewatch. For example, Redwood City has most of its buildings painted red, and Mayville, a white city, literally has most of its buildings painted white. So it's actually one of those jokes that they don't draw too much attention to that I actually got a big kick out of. But it manages to keep things up for Western fans too with the deadly shootouts, the gruff characters, and the excellent costume design and cinematography. So, speaking as a whole, The Harder They Fall is definitely a treat for Western fans, and especially if you like all the actors involved here. So, I do think it's a win for Netflix, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. See you next time.